of the Texas Southmost College District. Trustees present, Ms. Delia Sáenz, Mr. J.J. De Leon, Ms. Alejandra Aldrete, Dr. Zavaleta, myself, and our president, Jesus Roberto Rodriguez. Absent is Ms. Eva Alejandro. And I'll call on Dr. Zavaleta for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. To honor the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Public comment? Thank you. I will proceed to the chairwoman's report. Several board members and I attended the Brownsville Independent School District with the president, coffee with the superintendent. May 2nd, it was wonderful to hear from the new superintendent, Dr. Jesus Chavez, which is a product of BISD and TSC, and we're very proud. He was our commencement speaker as well. We look forward to continuing the strong partnership we have with BISD. Thank you, Trustee Aldrete, Mr. De Leon, Ms. Alejandro was there too, and the president. We also had a TSC delegation attending the Mayor John Cowan State of the City event at the Performing Arts Center. I've never seen a more organized and nice event.
It was.
And I don't know if it was the venue that made it so nice.
Yes.
But usually it is at the event center and it's just okay, right? But this was very, very nice, very well. It was nicely catered and there's a lot of people all present. I was very proud that we also had some students come and listen to the mayor and the commissioners. So, nice event. Finally, I would like to compliment our faculty and staff for coordinating another fantastic commencement exercise. That was awesome. We had two ladies sing the national anthem, one which is sitting right here, Ms. Abigail. You did a wonderful job. The other lady's name is?
Dory.
She was amazing as well, different than you, but very, very nice. This is where the results of our fruit, or our labor, this is the fruit of our labor. And I talk about this every commencement. And I know Ms. Delia and I shed a tear all the time because this is where you see all the decisions that you make here, all the faces that are so worth it, and we had many, many students. This year we had 1,052 students. And I dare any one of you to stand there and say hello and shake hands with 1,000 students. Let me tell you, it takes a toll on your back, but it was so, so worth it. Thank you for putting it together. We had so many people. The president did a really good job. People were anxious. They couldn't come into Jacob Brown, and that's why he's our president. And our leader, he took matters into his own hands, guided the people to the PAC, and apologized and set them and said, this is a beautiful venue, you'll watch it on the screen, and everybody was happy. And it could have been really bad, but Mr. President, you did an amazing job.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It takes a total team effort. I thanked everyone for their patience and keeping a cool head. And it's a true testament to the families and the loved ones and the students that come in and want to be part of our graduation celebration. And it was well attended. Wonderful.
I had a friend that was having a graduation party at the Gold Room, which I was supposed to attend after shaking hands with 1,000 students, but I did. And he called and said, we have nowhere to park. There's lots of people at the PAC. And he said, and I thought he was upset, and he says, and I am so happy for TSC there's just people everywhere. So it was a good sign. And with that, I conclude my report, Mr. President.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, trustees. I do share on everyone's pride for our newest Scorpion alumni who graduated over the weekend. We extend a heartfelt thank you to Dr. Jesus Chavez, BISD Superintendent, for his inspiring message, and to our graduates, and for being the commencement speaker for all 3 graduations. He did a stellar job, so thank you, Dr. Chavez. Again, the overall number of graduates grew by 44% compared to last spring. And if you zoom in our dual enrollment cohorts, there were 490 graduates. The number of dual enrollment graduates grew by 66% over last spring. Increasing the total number of graduates year after year truly fulfills our commitment of Texas Southmost College values of access, excellence, and success for the communities that we serve. So I do want to thank you, Madam Chair, the Vice Chair De Leon, Secretary Aldrete, and Trustee Sines for celebrating the day with our graduates and their families. And I extend my thanks to all the employees and volunteers who work behind the scenes to make this event a true success. Now, as part of our commencement related events, we celebrated our associate's degree nursing candidates for graduation at their pinning ceremony on May 9th. The class was comprised of 15 students, and I'm proud to share that 100% of the class has received a job offer. So congratulations to the students and their families, and to thank our health professions faculty for producing another class of much-needed professionals in our community. In addition to the knowledge and skills students gaining their programs of study, they also have the opportunity to grow their leadership skills. 58 students graduated from the TSC Students Leadership Academy on April 30th. This is a semester-long program during which students complete a number of activities to earn their designation as a TSC Certified Student Leader. So once again, thank you, Madam Chair, for participating in the graduation event, and to the Student Life team for providing the important programming for our students. Now, pivoting from graduation events, I would like to spotlight 2 events designed to assist our next class of Scorpions. We held a terrific registration roundup on Saturday, May 4th at the iTech Center. More than 300 people participated during a 4-hour event. Prospective students and their families had the opportunity to visit with faculty and receive assistance in registering for summer and fall courses. Future Scorpions also received help in applying for federal financial aid, grants, and scholarships. The registration roundup was a great team effort between our Instruction and Student Services Division and was supported by our hard-working facilities team. Next, we also hosted our first TSC Career and Technical Education Signing Day with the Brownsville Independent School District on May 8th. Approximately 100 students signed commitments to take part in our short-term welding and pipe fitting programs. The best part, all of the students are receiving full scholarships for tuition and fees from the TSC Foundation. Now, this collaboration was made possible with the partnership of BISD Superintendent Dr. Jesus Chavez and Career and Technical Education Director Benita Villarreal. The effort is also supported by our industry partners, Bechtel, Fusion Mechanical, SpaceX, AD Welding, and Bogus Tipton. I would like to thank Mr. Richard Mesquias, our VP of External Relations and Workforce Development, and his team, as well as the staff from Student Services Division for making this event successful. I would also like to thank Madam Chair for participating in the signing ceremony, which was a great success. Thank you.
That was so much fun.
It was.
Because we made it into a big deal. So it was like when athletes are signing up, this were students signing up, and so we had tables, and they would come and we would had cameras, and they would come and sign their contract. It was really amazing, and they seemed to enjoy it. I noticed that then we had 3 tables going at once, so all of a sudden a table stayed without one of us, and the little boy turned around and said, "Hey, no me dejen solo." I want a picture too. So it was really amazing, an amazing event.
Yeah, it was wonderful because they brought their families and loved ones and friends, and that brought a lot more exposure to the iTech Center as well. So that was a great event. Thank you, Mr. Mesquias, for putting it together. I would also now like to share the recognition that we are very proud of to receive. TSC was selected as a school safety spotlight by the Texas School Safety Center for the second time. This year, we were selected for the category Collaborative Community Partnerships in recognition for our active attack full-scale jurisdictional exercise. The exercise brings together first responders from throughout the community to collaborate on a response to a fictitious active attack incident on campus. So thank you to the Safety and Risk Management Department for coordinating the event, and congratulations on a very well-deserved recognition. As always, our Student Services Division has been working hard, hosting a number of events since we last met, designed to engage our students, providing that sense of inclusion. And some of those events are as follows. We had our annual Bougainvillea Ball, Stop By Student Live events, and the SGA Final Breakfast, which we provide free waffles to students as a pre-final treat. So put a little sugar on it, it was pretty good. I liked them. I shouldn't have, but I did. And now it's time for this month's video highlighting the activities that have occurred since we last met. Gentlemen, can you please roll the video?
You know I need you. You know I want you. Mama, I need you. Mama, I need you. You know I need you. You know I want you. Mama, I need you. Come and see me, baby. You know I need you. Mama, I need you. Mama, I need
Así suena el Sol de México en su sección de ritmos.
Ay, cómo resulta y suena. Ay, cómo resulta y suena. Resulta y va resultando. Resulta y va resumbando.
¡Hey!
know about you all, but I've got butterflies. We had made it to the end of another semester. We are incredibly proud of you.
Class of 2024, congratulations. You did it. Oh, yeah.
Continue your education, consider obtaining a master's degree or even a doctorate degree. You can do it. As we say in Spanish, sí se puede.
Congratulations, graduates. You may move your tassels to the left.
Thank you TSC for this y gracias mamá por haber venido y darme un sueño.
Thank my parents for supporting me going to school and my cousin Juan for getting me into school in the first place.
Thank you, universe or God, for letting me pass pre-calculus.
I couldn't make it here without you guys, so I appreciate all of you. Love, Mom, Dad.
I had a wonderful experience here at TSC. Thank you to my mom and dad and to my daughter. Love you guys.
I would like to thank the Board of Trustees for your continued commitment and support to our college and to the communities that we serve. Thank you so much. I also want to thank the entire Scorpion community for closing out a wonderful spring 2024 semester. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item number 6, consideration and possible action on the minutes of the following meetings. Regular meeting, April 18, 2024.
I so move.
I have a motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor? Against? Motion carries. Finance Committee, Ms. Aldrete.
Yes, ma'am. The Finance Committee met on Monday, May 6, 2024. Present were Chair Garza, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration, and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 7A, consideration and possible action on award RFQ 2407 for auditing services. I call on Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before you have RFQ 2407 for auditing services. We started the process back in February, and we're here to present it today. We received 3 different proposals for our annual auditing services. They were all evaluated by the committee, and the 3 proposals are qualifying auditors. The rating basically fell based on our criteria, where Cascos and Associate has defined better the experience and they're local to our firm. Karen Riggs also has some experience with higher education. Juarez CPA firm, they have qualified personnel, but they've never done an audit for higher ed. That's the reason why the scores are that way.
I move to award RFQ 2407 for auditing services to Cascos and Associates PC and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Ms. Sáenz. Any discussion? I know we keep going back to Cascos, but they've done a really good job, and they keep bringing a different set of eyes every time we rehire them. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7B, consideration and possible action on award RFQ 2415 for financial advising services. Dr. Figueroa?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. This RFQ 2415 is for financial advising services. We had 2 respondents. Basically, they're the ones that do survey and analysis in case we have a future planning on any bonds, and they help us with the debt management and any of the required paperwork that we have to file for our current bond issuances. We had two proposals that were received, and the committee recommends Estrada Hinojosa as the highest based on the submittal of the RFQ documents.
I move to award RFQ 2415 for financial advising services to Estrada Hinojosa and Company, Inc., and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? They've been doing this for so many years that they can do it with their eyes closed, right?
Yes,
And you haven't had any problems with them?
No, not at all.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7C, consideration and possible action on adoption of the 2024 Historic Preservation Plan resolution granting tax exemptions to eligible historic sites listed in the 2024 Historic Preservation Plan adopted by the City of Brownsville.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Before you have this item, the City of Brownsville has approved the 2024 Historic Preservation Plan and has come and request for the board to consider the exemption of 101 properties that meet the qualifications to be exempted from taxes. The impact to the college will be obviously, we will not be collecting on those 101 properties. It's amount of $21,544.
I move to adopt proposal of the 2024 Historic Preservation Plan resolutions granting tax exemptions to eligible historic sites listed in the 2024 Historic Preservation Plan Schedule A and the removal of properties in Schedule B, C, and D.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete,
Second.
second by Dr. Zavaleta. Any discussion?
I have a question, Dr. Figueroa.
Yes, ma'am.
From
Yes, sir.
the prior year to this year, is there new add-ons or basically they're all the same ones?
No, there is actually a reduction. Last year, it had 111 properties. This year, it's only 101. Schedules B, C, and D are removals. Basically, some of the properties did not meet the standard, and they were taken out. Some others were in repairs, and they didn't complete them within the time allowed, and others did modifications that did not no longer comply with the requirements.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7D, consideration and possible action on approval of Budget Amendment 24-002 to recognize investment income and fast state appropriation revenue.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you and for your consideration is a budget amendment to recognize revenue we received, the fast payment for the fall semester, and excess revenue that we collected on the investment income. This is in the total amount of $2,216,572. The different projects that will be allocated to is the main campus chiller plan, additional surveillance camera, maglock swipe entry, fitness court studio, fire alarm panel replacements, light poles at Ringgold, tennis court repair, HVAC repairs in Gorgas boardroom, iTech parking lot lights to retrofit to LED, and the South 123 studio AC units.
I move to approve Budget Amendment 24-002 for fiscal year 2024 as presented.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete,
Second.
second by Ms. Sines. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7E, consideration and possible action on passing a resolution to designate officer to calculate the no new revenue and/or voter approval tax rate for tax year 2024.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you for your consideration is passing a resolution to designate the officer to calculate the non revenue and the voter approval rate for this current tax year 2024. The Texas Property Reform Act requires that the board, the governing board of the institution designates an officer. In this case, that designation will be myself as the Vice President of Finance.
I move to approve resolution to designate officer to calculate the no new revenue and or voter approval tax rate for the tax year 2024.
Do we need to read the resolution, Mr. Perez? No? Okay. I have a motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
I just want to say thank you to Dr. Figueroa, because I know you've been doing this for as long as I've been here. Thank you for doing a good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
7F, consideration and possible action on approval for the depository bank services biennial contract through RFP 18-11 for fiscal year 24-25 and subsequent year.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, before you and for your consideration is the last available renewal on RFP 1811. This is for bank depository services for the next 2 fiscal years. Our current bank depository is Lone Star National Bank, and we are bringing for your proposal to continue that last renewal in the contract.
I move to approve depository bank services annual services with Lone Star National Bank through RFP 18-11 for fiscal year 24-25 and subsequent year.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7G, consideration and possible action on approval for campus vending machine services annual contract through RFP 2103 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, for your consideration, this is another renewal of RFP 2103 for campus vending services. It was originally awarded to Central Vending, but that was purchased by a canteen, and we are proposing we renew that last available renewal for the contract.
I move to approve campus vending machine services annual contract with El Valle Canteen LLC through RFP 2103 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? Not like there's an abundance of companies to do this either, right?
No.
No, last time we had 2 bidders and one was.
And then they became one?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Seven H, consideration and possible action on approval for temporary staffing annual services through RFP 22-38 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, this is another renewal of RFP 2238 for staffing services. This will be the second available renewal in the contract. There is 3 different firms that provide as needed services. This year, we did not reach the 25,000 limit. We've only done like about 16,000, but we're bringing it just in case next year we need those services.
I move to approve temporary staffing annual services with Lane Federal Solutions, Bus Clan LLC, and Region Staffing through RFP 22-38 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion, Ms. Aldrete.
Second.
Second by Ms. Sines. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7I, consideration and possible action on approval for printed and digital advertising annual services for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. For your consideration, this is a sole source contract with Tate Media, basically the Brownsville Herald. And these services are for advertising required notices, such as RFP and tax notices.
I move to approve printed and digital advertising annual services with AIM Media Texas Operating LLC through sole source purchasing method for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete. Second by Mr. De Leon. Discussion? What would happen if we didn't have Brownsville Herald anymore? Where do we advertise?
In the San Antonio one?
And be legal?
That is a good question.
But what would happen? It looks like they're disappearing by the day.
The legislation probably needs to get caught up with the fact that there's a lot more digital and no longer printed media.
Yeah. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7J, consideration and possible action on approval for office supplies annual purchase for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, for your consideration is to approve this services with Office Depot through the contract with OTMIA, one of our co-ops that we do business with for the college.
I move to approve annual purchases for office supplies from Office Depot through Omnia contract for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7K, consideration and possible action on approval for campus data cabling annual services through RFP 22-23 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez, before you, you have a annual renewal, second available renewal for our cabling services through 5 different vendors that was approved through an RFP awarded by the TSC Trustees in May of 2022. Those are the 5 companies that meet the criteria for our cabling technical requirements. And again, this is just an annual renewal. It'll be the second to last.
I move to approve campus data cabling annual services with BridgeNet Communications LLC, CS Global Consortium LLC, International Solutions Corp., Network Cabling Services Inc., and TelePro Communications through RFP 22-23 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Consideration and possible action on approval for document and retention policy manager software license upgrade fees and related services.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez, before you, you have a annual renewal for imaging software through Perceptive Content, which is now Highland and is our ImageNow software provider. We are extending the software agreement to include contract management for the purchasing department. In order to do that, we had to change the sort of licensing we have with Highland. That's why you see new licensing bundles there. At the end of the day, we're moving in the first year from $73,000 to $117,000. Oh yeah, I guess I should be advancing. Thank you, Dr. Figueroa, for the assist. We're now going to be paying $117,000, but that's for the professional services and the upgrade and the licensing. And then as you can see, we sort of return to a lower licensing amount for years 2 and 3.
I move to approve license upgrade fees and related services for document and retention policy manager software from Highland Software, Inc. through DIR-TSO-4378 contract and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7M, consideration and possible action award RFP 2411 for workers' compensation insurance.
Thank you. Chair Garza, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. This item is a new RFP issued earlier this year for our workers' comp. There was one proposal received from TASB, who is our current vendor. And so they are the proposed vendor, and I'm here along with Keela to answer any questions.
I move to award RFP 2411 for workers' compensation insurance to Texas Association of School Board TASB Risk Management Fund in the amount of $70,983 and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7N, consideration and possible action and approval for business strategy and security consulting annual services through RFP 23-07 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you. So this is a second-year renewal. Last year, in February, the board awarded this contract, so we're up for our second renewal and last available. I'm sorry, just second. The current vendor is listed there, and we are proposing the renewal of this contract as well.
I move to approve business strategy and security consulting annual services with Security Insights LLC through RFP 2307 for fiscal year 24-25.
I have a motion by Ms. Aldrete, second
Second.
by Ms. Science. Any discussion?
Yes, I have questions.
Sure.
Dr. Garcia, who's the principal of this agency?
Jaime Salazar?
Have you gone into the TOPS portal and checked to see that he's listed on that portal? Sorry, my voice went. The top portal shows who actually is the, what do they call it? The stakeholder, and it's not Jaime Salazar.
Yeah, so I mean,
And so, I don't know who the expert is, but do you know how many licenses there are for security?
Licenses? No, I don't.
Licenses.
Yeah. First, what type of security?
Or whatever, consulting kind of security, whoever that person is would know that there's 3 licenses and there's 3 different, categories.
Okay.
And I wanted to know who is the one with the expertise that can explain to me what those licenses are. You're not familiar with them?
I'm not familiar. And what was the name of the portal?
TOPS.
TOPS?
Portal,
Okay.
yeah. So you can't answer those questions for
No, I
me, right?
can't, sorry.
Okay.
I don't know if
Do
you
you
can.
want to do,
I'm afraid, I don't quite understand the question.
So, anybody who gives a security consulting has to be licensed to do so? And Jaime Salazar is not a stakeholder in this company. So I asked, and she said that it was Jaime Salazar. I believe it's his wife, the one that's a stakeholder on it.
Okay.
And so that's concerning to me, because I wanted to ask, and I got the questions that were incorrect.
why don't we table this, and then you all can answer all of Mr. De Leon's questions, and we'll bring it back?
Definitely, yes.
Appreciate it, thank you.
So I make a motion to table.
Excuse me, I'll make a motion to table, please.
I'll make a motion. I move to table.
Wait, we had a motion on the floor, so we amend the motion, right?
Okay. So we're amending the motion 7N to, I move to table business strategy and security consulting annual services with Security Insights LLC through RFP 2307 for fiscal year 24-25.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete to table, second by Mr. De Leon. All those any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7O, consideration and possible action on approval for campus fire alarm services biennial contract through RFP 22-30 for fiscal year 24-25 and subsequent year.
Thank you. This is a renewal for our fire alarm services. This was awarded back 2 years ago for a 2-year period, and so this renewal will be for an additional 2-year period, and the vendor is Superior Alarms, and happy to answer any questions.
I move to approve campus fire alarm services with Superior Alarms through RFP 22-30 for fiscal year 24-25 and subsequent year.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How often do we test the fire alarm system?
We're testing this week, so annually.
Okay, but that's once a year?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And no one's happy because we're testing.
7P, consideration and possible.
Did I take a vote?
No.
I didn't take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7P, consideration and possible action and approval for audiovisual annual services for college events for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Chair Garza, members of the board, President Rodriguez. I have Gabriel Picasso here with me to help answer questions, but this is a buy board or purchasing co-op for 421 Productions. This is a company we've used for lighting, and so you would have seen it at the gala, and we use it for other events here on campus. And so we have that there for your consideration.
I move to approve annual audiovisual services for college events from 421 Productions through buy board contract for fiscal year 24-25.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7Q, consideration and possible action and approval of television and digital advertising annual services for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you. This time, I'm supported by Mr. Rick Vasquez, Executive Director for Marketing. And so this is a sole source procurement. This is for television and digital advertising. And so those are the current vendors and companies we work with. And those are their common names. We run commercials on, also YouTube website, and we're requesting annual renewal of those as well.
I move to approve television and digital advertising annual services with Charter Communications Holdings LLC, DBA Spectrum Reach, Entravision Communications Corp., Mobile Video Tapes Inc., NBC Universal LLC, and Nexstar Broadcasting Group through sole source purchasing method of fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete.
Second.
Second by Ms. Sáenz. All those discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7R. Consideration and possible action and approval for billboard advertising annual services for fiscal year 24-25.
Ms. Dr. Garcia, did you say something?
No, ma'am. I was about to sneeze. Sorry. Yes, ma'am. This is for the billboards, another sole source. We have a contract with Lamar for various billboards, vinyl and digital, across the Cameron County. And that is the current estimated expense.
I move to approve billboard advertising annual services from Lamar, Texas Limited Partnerships through sole source purchasing method for fiscal year 24-25.
A motion, Ms. Aldrete.
Second.
Second by Ms. Sáenz. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
How many of those signs do we have?
How many of the billboards?
Yeah, the billboards, electronic
The number.
signs.
The digital ones? I think we could
Excuse
fill it. The digital, the electronic, you
ones.
said? How many, there are three?
Yeah, that one.
In all?
There's only one, no?
Which one?
Two?
No, we actually have the three, right?
No, there's three.
Three digital.
Three digital.
We're using, Lamar has several, but we have contracts on three of the digital billboards.
Do you have any, so how many is that?
3 digital billboards and about 8 vinyl billboards.
Okay, and I guess we don't have one in Hidalgo County.
No, not at this time.
Thank you.
Are those located also in PI and Los Fresnos?
The Lamar, no. They're primarily in Brownsville. There's some in Harlingen. There's 2 in Harlingen, and the rest are here in Brownsville.
Thank you.
Approve.
Did we make a,
We have to.
we didn't take a vote yet. No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7S, consideration and possible action approval for streaming video and digital advertising annual services for fiscal year 24-25.
Yes, ma'am. So this is another sole source, and this is with Rio Sports Live for our soccer live stream. And advertising, we can also do advertising on the channel.
Yes.
And we have our dedicated channel with them.
I move to approve streaming video and digital advertising annual services from Dalia Cázares Bowling, DBA Rio Sports Live LLC, through sole source purchasing method for fiscal year 24-25.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7T, consideration and possible action and approval for promotional items and printing solutions annual purchases through RFP 23-20 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you. This was an RFP that was issued last year to purchase promotional materials. And just to make sure, this is for promotional materials we give away through recruitment and other events. So this is maintained by marketing, and we share it with all the different departments that requested to give out when they are going to promote Texas Southmost College. And so we have the following vendors listed as vendors that we reach out to get different promotional items, and also for printing purposes. And so we have a series of 8 different vendors that we work with.
I move to approve promotional items and printing solutions annual purchases with Foreign Print, Inc., Big Hit Creative Group, Elite Promotions, Gateway Printing and Office Supply, Inc., Huntington Sky Production Ltd., Fast Signs, Lugra Incorporated, Printed Promotionals, and Slate Group through RFP 23-20 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
7U, monthly financial statement report for the month ended in March 31st, 2024. Mr. Carlos Becerro.
It's like at commencement, estamos viendo así, ya falta la última línea.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez. Excuse me. We have for you the monthly budget to actual report for the month ended March 31st. The report is in a similar format as we have presented, with the activity type along the left column, and then we have columns for budget, actuals for the month, year-to-date amounts, variances, and so forth. So before I get into the actuals for the month for this, the first of the 3 fund types, let me mention that just like on this slide, we have a total revenue number. We make note of the budget amendment amounts that are on here. What we've edited to the layout of the report is on the expenditures. We've now, within these object code categories, incorporated the expenditures that are associated with budget amendments. So we've gone through, incorporated them in here, and then we have a summary page of the activity for those budget amendments. So that's the difference from a prior report the board has seen to what they are now moving forward. We think it provides a more clear picture to the reader of the statements because it shows the activity within the object codes.
Yes.
And with that mentioned, I'll go through the second and the third of the fund types. So on here, I'm on the auxiliary fund, which is the second of the 3 fund types. And we have 73,000 for revenue. And we move on to the auxiliary expenditures. And we have categories for salaries, M&O, travel, and we have a total expenditures line for auxiliary of 108,000. And then this is the third of the 3 fund types, the general obligation and revenue fund type. We have revenue of 178,000, and then the expenditures follow with only $1,200 in the month of March. So that's revenue and expenditures for the 3 fund types. We have the detail for the health insurance, and the following slide has the fund balance recap, where this number here at the top ties to the audited financial statements, and then the number at the bottom is our estimated fund balance number at March 31st. And then the last schedules on this report are the debt service payment schedules, and there's no change to these schedules since we last presented them. If there are any questions, I'd like to try and answer those.
This item is for information only.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Becerro. 7V, Fund Balance Operations Report. Dr. Figueroa.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Madam Chair, members of the board, President Rodriguez, as Mr. Pesaro mentioned, this report is not changed because we still have the same amount of savings, unrestricted net position, and it matches to our audited financial statements. 195 days in operation is what's still available.
This is for information only.
Any questions? Do you have any questions, Dr. Zabaleta? No?
Okay. We're done with.
That was the last line?
Hey!
That was
Doing
the
it
last-
X, Y, and Z.
The last line in commencement.
But you're not done with me yet.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. You're next, too.
Yes, that's why I said you're not done with me yet.
Your facilities.
Facilities Committee. The Facilities Committee met on Monday, May 6, 2024. President were Chair Garza, Dr. Tony Zabaleta, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC administration and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following items. 8A, consideration and possible action approval for HVAC maintenance supplies annual purchases for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. Chair Garza, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. This is an annual renewal with our buy board vendors for HVAC maintenance supplies. I have Mr. Gerardo Mascoro here, our HVAC supervisor, to help me answer any questions, but these are the different vendors that we currently work with.
I move to approve annual purchases for HVAC maintenance supplies from Carrier Enterprise, LLC, Train US, Inc., Perry Mechanical Systems, and Insco Distributing, Inc. through buy board contracts for fiscal year 24-25.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
8B, consideration and possible action on approval for campus heating, ventilation, and air condition annual maintenance services through RFP 21-02 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you. And so this is for services, and this was done through an RFP 3 years ago. And so we are in our last renewal on this particular RFP for campus heating, ventilation, and air conditioning maintenance services.
I move to approve campus heating, ventilation, and air condition annual maintenance services with Gulf Mechanical Solutions, LLC, and ProTech Mechanical, Inc. through RFP 21-02 for fiscal year 24-25.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
8C, consideration and possible action approval for preventative maintenance services for campus thermal plants annual services through RFP 23-11 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you. So this RFP was issued a year ago for our thermal plant preventive maintenance. We're on our first available renewal, and those are the plants Mr. Moscoto would be happy to talk to you about. And current contractor that we are recommending.
Those look intimidating.
Yeah, he's been trying to get me to go in there, like, oh.
I move to approve preventative maintenance services for campus thermal plants annual services with Fox Mechanical, LLC through RFP 23-11 for fiscal year 24-25.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Ms. Sines. Any questions, discussion? Mr. Mascaro, you're doing an awesome job of keeping us cool, and that keeps us in a good mood, too. Thank you very much for all you do, sir. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
8D, consideration and possible action on approval for lighting/electrical supplies annual purchases for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Ms. Aldrete. I have George Hinojosa here, coordinator for facilities, available to answer questions as well. This is a purchase through our buy board for vendors that provide lighting and electrical supplies. And these are the two vendors that we currently work with and the types of supplies that we purchase.
So I move to approve annual purchases for lighting electrical supplies from CED, DBA Bush Supply Company, and Dealers Electrical Supply through buy board contract for fiscal year 24-25.
A motion by Ms. Aldrete,
Second.
Second by Ms. Science. Any discussion?
I just want to say that I'm glad that we are using a Brownsville company. Bush Electric has been here for quite some time, and I'm happy that we stay within our city.
Within our service district. The other one is
Yes.
Harlingen, right?
Vote. We vote.
Mr. Hinojosa, thank you so much for all you do. I see you everywhere when we have events, and your coordination is amazing.
Thank you, ma'am.
I wanted to congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Thank you for putting in the extra time, too. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
8E, consideration and possible action on approval for maintenance supplies annual purchases for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, ma'am. Again, this is another buy board vendors that we work with to buy our maintenance supplies in physical plant. So you see several there. We have two different buy boards that we work with, buy board and Omnia. Granger is on both buy boards. We listed them there. And then the other two on buy board or Omnia.
I move to approve annual purchases for maintenance supplies from Burton Companies and MSC Industrial Supply through buy board contract, and from Home Depot and Lowe's Companies through Omnia Contracts, Granger Inc. through buy board and Omnia Contracts for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete.
Second.
Second by Ms. Science. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
8F, consideration and possible action approved for campus lawn and tree annual maintenance services through RFP 22-12 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you. So this is an RFP that was awarded 2 years ago, and so we are on our proposed second and last available renewal for the campus lawn and tree maintenance vendor of American Cuts.
I move to approve campus lawn and tree annual maintenance services with American Cuts LLC through RFP 22-12 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
8G, consideration and possible action and approval for general building renovations and minor repair annual services through RFP 2313 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Secretary Aldrete. This is an RFP that was issued last year, so we're in a proposed first available renewal, and this is for building repair and minor renovations for those projects that we can't do in-house. And so we have various projects that we've done, and we work with the following vendors for various projects based on their price and availability.
I move to approve general building renovations and minor repair annual services with Camco Industrial Sales and Services, Grand River Maintenance and Services, LLC, Signs and More, LLC, Winco Construction, LLC, and Ziwa Corporation through RFP 2313 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
8H, consideration and possible action and approval for campus custodial annual services through RFP 2318 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you, Secretary Aldrete, Chair Garza, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. We are in our first proposed renewal with our new custodial firm, Pritchard. They were awarded last year, and we are completing our first year with them. And happy to answer any questions.
So I move to approve campus custodial annual services with Pritchard Industries, Inc. through RFP 23-18 for fiscal year 24-25.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion?
Are we satisfied with the product of their work?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes?
Yes.
Thank you.
We kept most of the employees from the other company.
For the most
didn't
part,
we?
yeah. Lots, same people.
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
8I, consideration and possible action and approval for fixed asset inventory annual services through RFP 22-36 for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you. And so this is another RFP renewal. This was awarded 2 years ago, And so we are currently in our proposed second available renewal for the vendor records consultants that does, we use our software for our inventory control, inventory tracking, and reporting.
I move to approve fixed asset inventory annual services with Records Consultants, Inc. through RFP 22-36 for fiscal year 24-25.
I second.
I have a motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Ms. Science. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
And this concludes my report.
Thank you. Tan, tan. Dr. Zavaleta?
Yes.
You're next.
The Academic Committee met on Monday, May 6th, 2024. Present were Chair Garza, Trustee Sines, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the administration, and legal counsel. Item number 9A, consideration of possible action on award of RFP 24-08 for cadet equipment for Criminal Justice Institute program. Now, before I make the motion, I have a question. Why have we combined Manny's uniforms with Brewer and Associate?
So,
Can you answer that?
so Manny is our first choice. The Brewer, the other vendor that's up here.
Well, that may be, but you're asking for a
For
motion
both of them?
Before discussion.
to approve both of those, and then you determine which one you're going to purchase from when the time comes, or how does that work?
So we prefer Manny, to use Manny's DBA, Manny's uniform, but Brewer is a second option in case they don't have all the boots or don't have all the shirts. So it's just a second
Well, I
option.
understand that, but is it appropriate to have them combined in a single motion, or should there be a second motion? Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Zavaleta. Let me answer that question. Yes, because it was one RFP. So those, both vendors responded to the same request for proposal. So what we're doing is, one of the proposals did not have all the items. So we want to have two options. In case the local option is not available to provide the needed equipment and uniforms, then we'll go to the second option.
I understand that, but is it appropriate to have them combined in a single motion? That's my question.
I will let Mr. Perez answer that, sir.
That would be appropriate for them to do that. It's a matter of economy of time and stuff. Yes.
All right, okay, in that case, I move to award RFP 2408 to Cadet Equipment for Criminal Justice Institute Program to Manny's Menswear, doing business as Manny's Uniforms, and Brewer and Associates, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
I second.
Motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? None? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9B, consideration and possible action on award RFP 2409 for instructional welding, gas, and other consumables.
So this is the purpose of the RFP is to select the qualified vendors. We had 4 proposed vendors that were in the RFP.
Didn't we do this recently?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
sir.
committee meeting.
Excuse me?
At the committee meeting.
Yes, sir.
No, I know that. But it seems to me that at a recent meeting, we approved welding supplies.
You're probably right.
Every 3 years.
It's been 3 years, no, it's probably been 3 years?
It's every 3 years. So
Time flies.
When you're having fun, sir.
Okay. All right. I move to award RFP 2409 for gas welding and other consumables to Matheson Tri-Gas and Triple S Steel Supply, doing business as Alamo Iron Works, and authorize President Rodriguez to execute the contract as presented.
A motion by Dr. Zavaleta. Second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? I know, I feel like you do, Dr. Zavaleta. Like, I feel like you do, like we talked about this the other day.
Sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9C, Consideration and possible action on approval of instructional electrical supplies annual purchases for FY 2024, 2025.
This is through our buy board. So the approval of the annual purchases for the electrical systems from Elliott Electric Supply through the buy board contract we already have in place through fiscal 2024 and 2025.
Any questions?
We need the motion.
I move to approve annual purchases for electrical supplies from Elliott Electrical Supply through buy board contract for 2024, 2025.
Motion by Dr. Zavaleta,
Second.
second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9D, consideration and possible action on approval for instructional plumbing supply annual purchases for FY 2024, 2025.
The staff recommends the continued with the purchases of plumbing supplies provided by Morrison Supply during the fiscal year 2024, 2025 through the buy board contract.
Okay. I move to approve annual purchases for plumbing supplies for Morrison Supply through buy board for 2024-2025.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta. Second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? I did notice there was a drop in expense this year from 75,000 to 25,000.
So that's just the usage.
Okay, we fixed everything and we don't have a lot to fix now.
Well, they're expendables. They're expendable supplies, but it's just a usage, ma'am. It just depends on our usage.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9E, consideration and possible action on approval of laboratory supplies and annual purchases for 2024, 2025.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta.
Right, yes, go right ahead.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. This first item is for the purchase of laboratory supplies for our biology labs provided by Carolina Biological Supply and VWR International DBA Award Science during fiscal year 24-25 through the buy board contract. The next slide, well, the last slide shows some of the items that we're purchasing. Preserved specimens, living specimens, and other items. And I am here to answer any questions if you have any on these items.
Motion?
I made the motion. Did I not?
No.
I move to approve annual purchases for laboratory supplies from Carolina Biological Supply and VWR International doing business as Award Science through the buy board contract for 2024, 2025.
Motion by Dr. Zavaleta.
Second.
Second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item number 9F, consideration and possible action on approval for food products for the Child Care Center annual purchases through RFP 2231 for FY 2024, 2025.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. This next item is for the purchase of food products for Child Care Center annual purchases, as you said, through RFP 22-31, FY 24-25. The staff is recommending that we continue with the services being provided by Labit Food Services and Cisco Central Texas for the upcoming fiscal year. These are some of the items that they purchase to prepare at the daycare. And the next slide shows the vendors and the projected purchase amounts. And Ms. Nava is here to answer any questions if you have any.
I move to approve food products for Child Care Center annual purchases with Labatt Food Services and Cisco Central Texas through RFP 2231 or 2425.
Motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. De Leon. I feel like we did this just the other day, too.
Yeah.
How often do we feed these kids?
Every day.
3 times a day? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item number 9G, consideration and possible action on approval for nursing curriculum testing software annual fees for FY 2024-2025.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta.
Yes, sir.
This, again, is for nursing curriculum testing software, annual fees for FY '23 and FY '24, FY '23-24. Again, the nursing curriculum testing services being provided is Assessment Technologies Institute through sole source purchasing method. This year's projected purchase amount is $154,275. And
Questions? There be no questions. I move to approve annual fees for nursing curriculum testing software from Assessment Technology Institute through sole source purchasing method for FY 2024-2025.
Second.
Motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Aldrete. This is new testing equipment? This is what we've had?
We've had it for 4 semesters now.
And our students are doing really well lately.
We've seen improvement.
I want to congratulate you on the last pinning that I went to. My God, you do such an amazing job. Your whole crew is amazing, and the students were so happy. And the common thread was they would not let us fail. And I'm so glad that we nurture these kids and we send them out prepared to do their job. Thank you so much for all you're doing for the whole staff.
Thank you very much.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9H, consideration and possible action on approval for medical simulation mannequin warranty fees for FY 2024-2025.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. The staff is recommending we continue with services being provided by CAE Healthcare during fiscal year 24-25 through sole source purchasing method. The projected purchase amount is $25,000.
I move to approve annual fees for medical simulation mannequin warranty from CAE Healthcare Incorporated through sole source purchasing method for FY 2024-2025.
A motion by Dr. Zavaleta,
Second.
second by Ms. Sines. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9I, consideration and possible action on approval for testing study software annual fees for FY 2024-2025.
And thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. The staff recommends we continue with the purchase of testing study software through Elsevier during fiscal year 24-25 through sole source purchasing method. This software is used for ADN, LVN admission exams, assessment exams, and NCLEX preparation and review. The projected amount for this upcoming purchase for this year is $37,000.
I move to approve the annual fees for testing study software from Elsevier Incorporated through sole source purchasing method for FY 2024-2025.
I have a motion by Dr. Zavaleta,
Second.
second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? Apparently it's worth every penny because we're doing good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Item 9J, consideration possible action on approval for library databases for digital resource annual purchases through RFP 2112 for FY 2024-2025.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. Before you is the renewal of our library databases. It's the third and last available renewal that was approved by the Board of Trustees back in 2021 for the use of EBSCO Industries Incorporated Library Digital Resources. I have Mr. Hernandez here if you have any questions.
Do we get any kind of report or feedback on the use?
Yes, we do, Dr. Zavaleta, and we'll be more than happy to share it with you if you.
So at quarterly or annually or semi-annually, we can know how many students are using it?
Certainly, we can provide you that.
All right, thank you. That's important. Let's see.
I need a motion.
I move to approve library databases for digital resource annual purchase from EBSCO Industries Incorporated, doing business as EBSCO Information Systems, through RFP 2112 for library services platform FY 2024-2025.
Okay, I have a motion, Dr. Zavaleta, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor? Against? Motion carries.
Item number 9K, consideration of possible action on approval for online tutoring annual services through RFP 2308 for FY 2024-2025.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. Yes, this is the first available renewal of 3 for this particular item, which is allowing us to do online tutoring to our students beyond the on-campus tutoring through BrainFuse. This is some of the statistics that we've gathered for you, so you can see that there's pretty heavy usage of this particular tool. We're pretty happy with it. I think you approved BrainFuse last year, and if you have any particular questions, again, I have AVP Hernandez here to answer.
Composition 1.
And is that a report?
Yes.
Yes.
That we're looking at?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I move to approve online tutoring annual services with BrainFuse Incorporated through RFP 2308 for FY 2024-2025.
I second.
Motion by Dr. Zavaleta, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
I have a comment. We're using more than 7,000 hours with these services.
We're averaging about 7,000 hours, man, with these services. As you can see, that report is from September to March.
Back.
And we still have April and May.
Oh, one back. Let's see, there you go. Can you go back?
One more.
That's, there it
That's
is.
it.
I just saw it. There.
That one. Otra vez.
One more. Go back.
Give it to us.
There you go.
I would like to thank the universe and God for that.
As you can see, Ms. Science, in that report, it's from September 1st to March 22nd of 2024. And at that time, we had about close to 6,000 hours already used. So if you can imagine, from March, we still have May, which was finals, so that number has increased. And then we have the summer, so.
It would be nice to see a comparative report between last year and this year or next year.
We can certainly provide that, sir. We can definitely bring you that next time. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Did I take a vote? Yes, I did, right?
Yes. Last one.
Last one.
Last
Did we take a vote on that?
Yes.
Item 9L, consideration and possible action on approval of learning tool interoperability platform for video engagement software annual fees for FY 2024-2025.
Thank you, Dr. Zavaleta. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. This is a sole source agreement to continue to use a video engagement tool called PlayPosit that is used by the faculty and students through our ETOL department. And again, Mr. Hernandez is here to not only page us through the slides if possible, but to answer any questions.
Give him the remote.
Okay.
I know.
I move to approve the learning tool interoperability platform for video engagement software annual fees from PlayPosit through sole source purchasing method for FY 2024-2025.
Motion by Dr. Zavaleta,
Second.
second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion? Ms. Sainz? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
That concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zavaleta.
I don't have much voice there.
You didn't have as many as Ms. Aldrete?
She went on and on.
Next, Student Services.
The Student Services Committee met on Monday, May 6, 2024. Present were Trustee Alejandro, Chair Garza, President Rodriguez, myself, members of the TSC Administration and College Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following: consideration and possible action on approval for Adobe licenses annual purchase for fiscal year 2024-2025. I call on Mr. Luis Villarreal.
Thank you, Ms. Sines. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. This is a renewal through journeyed.com of our site-wide Adobe licenses for both faculty, staff, and students. We used to license it separately, now it's all been aggregated and to include our digital signature that we use with Adobe, and as you can see, we're projecting a slight increase for next year for $85,000.
I move to approve annual purchases for Adobe licenses from JourneyEd.com, Inc. through the Texas Department of Information Resources Contract DIR-CPO-4451 for fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
Motion by Ms. Sines,
Second.
second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
10B, consideration and possible action on approval for computer networking equipment and software annual purchases for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. I call on Mr. Luis Villarreal.
Thank you, Ms. Sines. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. Before you, you have our estimate for the expenses towards computer and networking equipment to include software that we will purchase through two different purchasing methods, Omnia and directly through the Department of Information and Resources with the state of Texas, with CDW Government and Dell Marketing. CDW will provide a lot of the peripherals that we use along with the computer equipment that we purchase, and Dell Marketing is where we go directly for our laptops and computers and servers, et cetera.
Thank you. I move to approve annual purchases for computer networking equipment and software from CDW Government, Inc. through Omnia Contract and from Dell Marketing, LP through the Texas Department of Information Resources, DIR-TSO-3763 for fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Sines, second by Ms. Aldrete. Any discussion?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Mr. Villarreal.
Yes.
How often are we refurbishing the old ones to put in new ones? Is there like a
Yes,
schedule?
we have a refresh cycle. We have not been keeping to it. The last 2 years, we have not purchased the number of computers and laptops that we took to the board in May due to budget constraints. That's why the number is getting higher. But we take the most egregious situations and replace them, the ones that can't run certain softwares and operating systems anymore. And we do believe this year, due to the new funding model, that we will be able to catch up for the bulk of the machines that need to be replaced. And we focus mostly on the labs first, right? The ones that the students use.
Yeah, we need to be keeping up with that.
Yeah, we
for sure.
haven't been, it's true.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Good question.
10C, consideration and possible action on approval for Microsoft software annual fees for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. Mr. Villarreal?
Thank you, Ms. Sines. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. Before you, you have our recommendation to continue to use Software House International Government Solutions out of Austin, Texas through the DIR contract to purchase our Microsoft software licenses to include Azure, which is Microsoft in the cloud. This is our campus agreement that provides Office 365, Word, PowerPoint, et cetera, Excel to the student, staff, and faculty.
Is that for all Microsoft products?
Majority of the ones that we use, yes.
Yeah, and it's for staff and students?
Correct.
Thank you.
I move to approve annual fees for Microsoft software with SHI Government Solutions through the Texas Department of Information Resources, contract DIR-TSO-4092 for fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
A motion by Ms. Science. Second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
10D, consideration and possible action on approval for fiber optic network and internet annual services for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. Mr. Villarreal?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Sines. Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez. This is the renewal through a sole source agreement of our partnership with VTX Communications to provide fiber optic network and internet services across the campus to include iTech.
I move to approve fiber optic network and internet annual services from VTX Communications LLC through sole source for fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
Motion by Ms. Science, second by Ms. Aldrete. If Mr. Herrera was here, he would be telling you, we've used miles and miles and miles.
Yes, and now that he's gone, I can confess. No, I'm just kidding. I never understood that one, but no, this is our primary.
And you keep coming back for more and more.
I keep coming back, yeah. I hear him, even though he's not here. I hear
All those
him.
in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
10E, consideration and possible action on approval for athletic supplies and equipment annual purchases for fiscal year 2024 and 2025. I call on Dr. Plummer and Dr. Armando Ponce.
Yes, Ms. Hines, Madam Chair, Board of Trustees, Dr. Rodriguez, thank you for the opportunity for us to present on equipment and supplies for the Recreation Center athletics. I'd like to turn it over with your permission, to Dr. Ponce to give you more details.
Thank you, Ms. Science, Madam Chair, members of the board. Before you today, I'm bringing a presentation regarding the company that we use to purchase equipment. This is the same company that we used last year, and that is BSN Sports. I kind of compare it to, they're kind of like the Amazon or the sporting goods world, where they have things that we use regularly for both intramurals, recreation, and athletics, soccer nets, volleyball nets. We also purchase our practice uniforms and our uniforms through this company. I'm open for any questions.
I move to approve annual purchases for athletic supplies and equipment from BSN Sports through buy board contract for fiscal year 2024 and 2025.
I have a motion by Ms. Science, second by Mr. De Leon. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
Thank you.
10F, consideration and possible action on approval of matching funds for a national fitness campaign, fitness court and studio grant. I call on Dr. Stella Garcia.
Thank you, Trustee Science, Chair Garza, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. This particular project was presented to us by the National Fitness Campaign and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas. They presented us a $50,000 grant, and we would come up with the rest of the money to provide a fitness court and studio. And the proposal to place this is on the property that was granted to the college from the U.S. government, the Federal Lands to Park project that is over by the physical plant near the soccer field. And this would be open to the community, and it would, and this picture here shows one half of the court, so it would be an outdoor sports court. It has apps where you can follow an exercise program, and what we are proposing is there would be the studio portion, which would be the other side, which is a full court there, which you can do group exercises, yoga, Zumba, meditation, what have you. Our soccer team could also work out there, other students, but as well as the community, local law enforcement that is in the area all the time. So this particular project They would brand our, the side with Texas Southmost College. And again, group activities. We would be the only institutions in South Texas that would have a court like this. And again, we were selected to apply. And I'm getting to the budget, but the amount that, I was like, it's coming. I didn't realize how many slides there were. Right here, the total project cost is, our share would be $217,500. So the fitness court and studio is $195,000. They're reducing it by the $50,000 grant. So the program total would be $145,000. We would have to install a concrete slab, which we would pay for separately from any, we wouldn't pay them to do it, we would do it. The estimated cost of that concrete would be about $40,000. And then they would come and install it for the $32,000. And so the installation in concrete, obviously you have the $72,500 for a total of $217,500, which is what the request is to match the $50,000 grant. And it could be up as early as before the big end of this year. We could have ribbon cutting at that. Theirs is their mock-up. This is just a preliminary, because I told them, probably a wider logo instead of the stack. They had the reason for that initial proposal. But they would do the branding on the court for us. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Do the motion so we could have motion.
Excuse me. I move to approve matching funds of $217,500 towards the National Fitness Campaign, Fitness Court and Studio.
Motion by Ms. Science.
Second.
Second by Ms. Aldrete. How is that a match? 50,000 and then we have.
Yeah.
How is that a match?
That was the initial, when they presented it, that we would get $30,000 to $50,000 toward the project. So we could go lower than that. We're doing the full court proposal. If we went just with the one half of the court, it would be $40,000 less. I'm sorry.
But we don't do anything halfway.
So this is the option that would be the greatest impact of having a court for a group exercise at 217. It's not obviously a one-to-one match, but that is how they set up these programs. But we own it after, there's nothing, no recurring costs after the first.
It's good for the community. And
It
it's good for the
is.
students.
It's like that.
But I feel like they lured us in.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't in our budget.
I mean, if the total cost is 217, or that's what we're putting in?
That's our share. So that would be our share.
And how much are they putting in, 145?
No, 50,000.
50,000.
Pero como? It should be the other way around because it's our land.
So,
That
you know
is
how we
ours.
just asked Mr. Variada about the replenishing the computers, and he said because of budget restraints, we were holding back on buying computers? Well, isn't that more important than putting a slab of concrete when in this heat? I challenge anybody to be outside right now.
Wow.
And the heat, like it doesn't have any shade or anything
That's-
either. Like they wouldn't use it until like
Then
kind of like
maybe
the
we-
sun comes down.
I mean, do we have a time
Obviously,
frame?
we don't use the equipment.
Right.
Obviously,
So-
it's not important to us.
No,
To
but,
some people, it is.
well, yeah,
They, if,
how soon do
there's-
we have to say yes?
well, we've been going kind of back and forth with them because we had looked for other funding as well to try to match. But if we're on a 30-day kind of extension, as we're kind of talking through, the budget amendment that was approved on the Finance Committee portion did include a piece for this project.
Okay.
I believe that this would bring people onto our campus. It would be more exposure for TSC.
And we also need to do something with that piece of land for the,
I'm all for fitness, not that I exercise, but
but
I
you
know
need
it's
to.
for, health
those-
reasons and mental health too, right?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
I'm in favor. Because I said aye when she said against, but I said I'm in favor.
Thank you. Policy
This-
Committee.
This concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Science.
Okay. Policy Committee met on Tuesday, May 7th, 2024. President were Chair Garza, President Rodriguez, myself, member of the TSC Administration, College and Board Legal Counsel. The committee discussed the following item: 11A, legal updates, number 47. And I will call Mr. Perez to go over these items.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Rodriguez. Before you, you have TASB legal update number 47. It consists of a summary of 25 legal policies throughout the entirety of your policy manual that have been updated with legal additions added by different governmental entities, that regulatory and lawmaking entities such as the Texas legislature, the federal government, the United States Department of Education, and the coordinating board. And what you have is not an action item, but my presenting this to you, this item to you, serves as your acknowledgement that you received it. And that's what our obligation is, that your minutes reflect that. It's a lengthy update. It's over 300 pages long. As always, if you individually or as a board would like for either Mr. Peña or I to explain in the open session or personally, we would be happy to do so. Some of these are quite extensive amendments to the policy, but it's for information only. And throughout your tenure as board members, you will be exposed to most of these at some time or another. That concludes my presentation.
This item is for information only, no action is required. That concludes my.
Includes changes?
It includes amendments, changes, additions, tweaks.
Shouldn't we go over those one by one?
We could do that. In fact, the committee chair, trustee.
A workshop or something?
Yes, we would be happy to do
If
that.
you're proposing changes to policy, then we should know what they are.
You're right, it's changes to the legal policy, which we have no control over.
We don't have any control for legal policies. If they would be local, then there would be more discussion. But we don't have a say-so. This is a requirement from the state.
Well, but we still have a liability.
But we can't change any of the wording. It's legal versus local.
It would assist in when you all are formulating your local policies that TASB will send us periodically also. We will refer, Mr. Peña and I will look at the legal policy that addresses that and inform you. And if you want to make a change to your local policy, we will be able to tell you whether or not that proposed change comports with the legal standards that are in your policy. So, no, that's a very good idea. It's a good thing for you all to get to know.
I think on a one-to-one basis, if anybody feels the need to sit down with the attorneys, you can, and maybe you take an afternoon and come visit with the attorneys.
Would be happy to do that.
Yes.
Dr. Zavaleta, also at the beginning of the report, there's explanations of each one of the 25 items. They're summarized for us, and this is nice and short. When you look over here, there's a lot that goes with each one of these. But there is a summary, 2 summary sheets at the beginning of the report.
Thank you.
Page 1 through 4.
Item number 12, executive session. The board will now convene in executive session as provided by Government Code Chapter 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. We are now in executive session. From,
Yes, I
Executive
move to adopt the salary schedule for fiscal year 2023, 2024, as discussed in executive session.
So move.
I have a motion by, no, you're second. She moved, you're
Yes, I'm
second. Yeah. Motion by Ms. Science, second by Mr. De Leon. It's okay, you're not feeling well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. On the next board meeting, we were going to change it to the 13th because Mr. De Leon and I were going to go to the, to the conference, but we're not going. So let's keep it at the usual date of the.
Thursday?
Yes, on the, guess, 20th, no?
20?
Mhm. And in July, we usually don't have a board meeting.
No, we don't.
So we don't want to have a board meeting in July, and that's a consensus?
Yes, agree.
So you all take a break too? So,
Perfect.
okay?
So bring everything that you need to bring in next month.
Next month,
On
yes,
the June 20th.
on the June 20th.
June 20th.
Okay.
June 20 or June 13?
20th. We were going to
So
change it.
I have it wrong in my phone.
Yes,
That's the
because we were
third
going to
Thursday.
go to the
Okay.
conference, but we're not going.
So then we change it here.
Okay, to the 20th, okay?
Okay.
And I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Aldrete, second by Mr. De Leon. We stand adjourned.